My Hero Academia. Brian's suffering with allergies, it looks like.
Oh, allergies are fucking killing me, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well, this is My Hero Academia, chapter 309. Can't be a child anymore. Yeah, last we left off.
Anybody's RGC?
I mean, I was going to save till later, but it is mine.
RGC.
RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
This one's for Brian. How about you, Josh? How do you...
Oh, no.
What was yours?
What's left?
Are we miss? Wow. All right. Really? Okay.
And actually, I voted for it, too.
Okay.
That's how I knew Black Clover definitely was winning. I was like, oh.
Ooh, handily too, 50-something%.
Yeah.
But in any case, this is My Hero Academia. Last we left off, Midoriya stomped Jailbreaker / Muscular.
Essentially, yeah.
And he's now flying off, into the sky. He's got him in hand in the Black Whip while flying. How far our boy has come. Meanwhile, a couple of students from Ketsubutsu Academy look up into the sky and they're like, yo, look at that guy. It's Jailbreaker. He got him. Ketsubutsu. And yeah, we get a little scene that shows that Yo kind of remembers him. And he's like, whoa, this kid's got a different vibe. Midoriya arrives at the police station completely in smokescreen. And he's like, I got Jailbreaker. Don't shoot. I'm out. Drops out Jailbreaker, leaves. And Midoriya flies off. He says he calls someone on the phone and he says, he calls All Might. He says, I'm headed back. And All Might's out here rocking the shades and the fucking leather jacket, looking fresh as hell with his denim jeans. As Deku just lands beside him, and he's like, hey, are you all right? Are you okay? How are your arms and legs? He's like, I'm doing all right. Thanks to these things, these mid-gauntlets compression support items you ordered from America before trade borders shut down, I'm doing okay. And these mid-gauntlets are kind of like a reference to the first My Hero Academia movie where he uses these bands, although it's no confirmed connection between the two. These seem to be actually weaker versions of the ones that are in the movie, but they look exactly like them, which is kind of cool. A little shout out. But yeah, they're basically made to hold Midoriya's arms together so he could use the Power Stalker quirk to its fullest without breaking his arms like he used to. He gets a call, and it turns out that Hawks is also in the city, and so is Best Jeanist and Endeavor, and they're just fighting villains as well. Midoriya flies off, and All Might's like, damn it, he left again. And Hawks is like, actually, this is probably a good thing. One line of thinking would be to keep him isolated is the best way to prepare him for what's coming, because if he's less prepared than the villains that he faces off against, it's all over anyway. And we cut over back in time to, explain how Deku ended up in this situation. After his recovery, and his mom's is in the picture again, the doctor explains, like, hey, so I heard you've been warned that these abilities can tear your body apart, but you know what? It's gotten a little better. You were still injured, but not nearly as bad as before because he's at 45% capacity in terms of how much of the Power Stalker technique he can use. Yeah, a little bit of progression.
Makes sense. Yeah, it made sense. I think it was a clever way to kind of just say, yeah, I don't gotta worry about his broken arms no more. It's not really a thing.
Well, not as bad as before. His body's stronger, so he can handle it a little more.
I thought his arms and legs were gonna be jello.
Yeah. But
or that maybe he had rope. It was some type of quirk he was gonna be able to use his arms and legs with.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they did this instead, which was cool. It was a much straightforward. He's good.
yeah.
Got gauntlets. Don't worry, he'll be alright.
Midoriya's mom asks for an explanation, and All Might seems to explain the whole fucking thing to her. And she asks, what's going to happen to him? And All Might's like, hey, he'll be fine. We're making arrangements to keep him protected at UA. And that's when Midoriya says, I'm not going back to UA because Shigaraki has the ability to locate him. And after everybody got fucking schmacked before, he's not prepared to see anybody else get hurt. So, he thinks the better option would be to attack them before they get to full strength. So, he's gonna build up his strength a little faster and, intercept Shigaraki before he can gain full power himself. And we get this little moment. I mean, whenever Midoriya's mom is in a thing, it's always just like, fuck, my heart. Where, she calls back to the time where, she's playing with young Midoriya in his little All Might costume. And it cuts to the present where now Midoriya's hugging her and be like, I have to go, but that's okay. I'll come back home to you. And I'm like, Midoriya's mom! Ah! Makes me cry almost every time. And All Might starts feeling bad because he remembers the time where he said that he would look after him a while back. And All Might's like, I know I can't stop you from going, but I'm coming too, whether you like it or not. And Best Jeanist and Hawks and Endeavor learn about Midoriya's intentions, and they're like, I guess that's okay. I mean, we were going to make him the focal point of our efforts anyway. So, he can do what he wants, and we'll just be around to make sure it doesn't get too crazy. And we get this final scene where, I guess Midoriya tells Gran Torino about how Nana Shimura was crying about what happened with Shigaraki and all that stuff. And he apologizes for not making the kill. And he says, don't be so rigid. Killing can be another way to save someone. As Midoriya takes the sash, I guess, for lack of a better word, from this guy from Gran Torino. And we learned that there's a team up now, with the final splash page being of Midoriya teaming up with the top 3 and All Might. And that's where the chapter ends. Sheesh. A lot to unpack. We had our concerns, I guess. Fair to say. But I feel like this did a lot to alleviate my own kind of gripes. I don't think... my whole assumption was that Midoriya went off rogue and he's doing this all on his own, but it's good that he has a support system, and this is way more organized than we thought it was initially.
Yeah.
And more importantly, that Midoriya doesn't seem to have been that changed in terms of a disposition. He's using his head and is like, look, this is the only way I can keep my friends from getting killed. So I appreciate that a lot. And
Which, to be fair, I called it.
You didn't call it exactly like this.
I said that he was growing. He was growing, and he was only doing this because he didn't want people to fucking get rolled by
No, that's the
Shigaraki.
only thing you said, was that he's doing it to protect the others. Now, all right, I'm gonna tell you this. I think the chapter did help make the point that, look, it's not gonna help if he just stays sheltered at UA and doesn't get out there and just really experience his abilities and such. And then I guess I feel like the safety part of it is honestly secondary. I mean, they said it they're proactively out there searching for these guys so that they have less time to prepare for their big move and their big attack. That's the point of this whole super duper cool team up that's about to happen, I guess, and why they're already going to find the villains, so.
Exactly. I mean, it is about keeping people safe, but it is more about, in order to keep them safe, we have to act first. We have to act before
And
they
I
can.
think that makes sense. And just because they're about to act first doesn't mean that the series is about to end next chapter. You know what I'm saying? So
I'll say this.
as long as that's the case.
I've been reading back My Hero. I own every volume, so I've just been like slowly, reading it from the very beginning because I've always wanted to see how it kind of flows. One thing, reading this chapter and then reading like I'm up to the first time Bakugo and Deku fought in like that little building where they were doing their little test. And it is pretty cool. This chapter is called "Can't Be a Child Anymore." It kind of struck me how much Midoriya was so different in a way where he was so scared and he was going for it and going for his dream and doing all this stuff, but he was so scared in the meantime and he was constantly crying and nervous. And now he's like, it's time to fucking grab my nuts, be a big boy and take care of business. And that's as focused as My Hero Academia it is, as at least the focus is, it pays off in terms of Midoriya's character, because I think this has just been a great main character progression over 300 chapters, and it's very natural how braver he becomes and how more confident he becomes over time. I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's a very underrated thing that not a lot of people see, is how much Midoriya is a different person from when the series started. But yeah, this was my RGC. I don't have much else to say about it. It was great. I can't wait to see what's next for My Hero. You guys got any closing thoughts before we go?
I really liked how much people started to kind of. It's kind of like. I kind of liked how much Deku was involved with this process, where it's like, he was going to do it whether they didn't want him to do it or not. They just decided to back him in this. It wasn't something that somebody told him to do, and it's not like people stopped him from doing it. It's literally the Deku show. And there's a reason for it. It's not just because he's the main character. It's because he has this power that was given to him. So he has to become this person. And they recognize that, And this is his step forward to becoming the symbol of peace at some point in the series,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm still not used to his suit looking so menacingly, though. You know what I mean? Like, I
Sure
feel
it'll
like
change.
with the hood on and all that stuff, he looks kind of like it doesn't match his personality. But I still like the suit. Don't get me wrong, but it feels odd being on Deku when it looks like that.
Weirdly enough, looking back, the suit looks a lot better than when the series started, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
But yeah, I mean, Deku's suit itself has always been kind of like lackluster, in my opinion. But I think that's kind of the point. I think he's supposed to get an official costume down the road when he really becomes a hero. Hopefully it won't have those weird ears that always looked out of place. But